it this way, with 49% of the votes in southwestern Ontario, they won a whopping 83% of the seats. It speaks to the effective targeting, probably the tour of Pierre Poilievre in southwestern Ontario, and how he's able to convert, you know, a certain number of 49% into like a majority, 8 out of every 10 seats in southwestern Ontario. And you look at the Liberals, you know, not being as efficient in terms of converting their support into seats.
We really see that, Nick, especially when we talk about getting out the vote and how they are campaigning across the country. So if we look at the vote value nationally, it's very similar to the polling information, Nick.
Yeah, it is, except if you're the New Democrats. Think of it this way, you know, they only converted, you know, their percentage by 1/3, like 6% to 2% in terms of percentage of seats. It shows how inefficient the New Democrats were.
Certainly a very big story unfolding this evening with the New Democrats, and it is seen right there on that vote efficiency. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Heather, thank you so much. I want to send it to Geneviève Beauchemin, who's at Liberal headquarters right now. And obviously, you know, positive news for the Liberals, if you're a Liberal, seeing the fact that there is, Geneviève,
generation under Jagmeet Singh, a pharmacare plan that the Conservatives and Liberals had voted against time and time again, and that was only 25. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, but New Democrats are used to a lot of work. We're used to doing this, and we are going to hold the Liberal government accountable, and they are going to have to live up to their promises to Canadians to make life more affordable, to make sure that groceries are affordable, to make sure that there is housing and people can afford somewhere to live.
Well, there are a lot of issues there that you just mentioned that I'm sure resonate with many Canadians. Heather McPherson, congratulations again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much.
Now, Catherine, Heather won this seat pretty firmly back in 2021 with 60% of the vote. We have called it so far for Heather in this moment. Polls are still reporting, but we are looking at about 12 percentage points less at the moment. We'll see where the night takes us.
Really interesting. Thank you very much for that. The CBC's Sam Sampson. And Rosemary, Heather McPherson saying the future of the NDP is in this room. Pretty noteworthy when they have not right now. They don't have official party status, and the party's leader is in trouble in his own riding.
Yeah, and let me show you just that very thing. There you go. Jagmeet Singh continues to trail, continues to be in third place. That's where he's been this night in his riding of Burnaby Central. It had been a concern for the party, and it continues to be so. So we'll see whether Mr. Singh is even able to hang on to his own riding in Burnaby South. And so I'm going to go to Randall Garrison. I brought him out there. So we'll start with the good for you, Heather McPherson. A bit of a star MP for the NDP, frankly. She was re-elected in her riding, but also a loss of Blake Desjardins. And Mr. Singh is in some trouble. What are you thinking tonight?
Well, it's obviously not a happy night for New Democrats,
yeah.
But I think what most New Democrats understand is that this is an election where a lot of our traditional supporters held their noses and said we have to vote for the Liberals to keep Pierre Poilievre out, and also to have the strongest possible stance against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And so they've lent their votes to the Liberal Party this time. But remember, the initial opposition in 4 provinces,
yeah.
I still see a path to 12 seats there because the NDP heavily works advanced polls, and everyone knows that. Night for us.
No, you're not going to sugarcoat it. You're a political scientist and recovering politician.
I'm recovering both.
A lot about how Mr. Poilievre should have pivoted, and who knows if that's actually the truth given where the numbers are. But I wonder whether Mr. Singh should have pivoted earlier, whether he should have not suggested that there was some world in which he was going to be prime minister, and should have pushed more for the balance of power and protecting the things that you're talking about.
Well, it's a very short campaign we've been in, and
yeah.
so pivoting earlier means a week earlier, maybe.
Well, no, starting from that point, maybe.
But from the beginning, we had no idea what was going on because of Trump. We had no idea what kind of campaign it was going to be. We had no idea that this big shift would be, whether it would be lasting for Carney or there was a bump. Yeah. So for the first couple of weeks of the campaign, nobody really knew what was happening. And once we did know what was happening, he did shift very quickly.
Right. What happens if he loses a seat?
Well, it's always hard for leaders to lose their seat if they want to stay on as leader. And you know, I'm ultra honest. I don't know whether he'll want to stay on as leader if he loses his seat. Yeah. It's going to be very difficult for him. I know it's been very hard on his family because of the threats that have been made to him. Yeah. And maybe he won't wish to continue. On the other hand, the advance polls come through. He still wins his seat. We still another whole thing. So that's a story you can't write yet.
No, yeah, that's fair.
And we'll live to see tomorrow where we actually end up.
Okay. Thank you, Randall Garrison. Appreciate you you being forthcoming there as well.
Donc, Karen, c'est très, très, très serré dans beaucoup de circonscriptions au pays. Quand on voit le résultat. Alors, j'ai ma collègue qui est avec Madame May, Anaïs.
Bonjour Patrice, oui, je me trouve à Saanich Gulf Island avec Madame May. Première entrevue après sa réélection. Madame May, comment vous vous sentez?
Oh, je suis tellement heureuse parce que j'ai gagné le siège encore, mais je suis triste évidemment parce que mon collègue co-chef, John Pednant, n'a pas réussi autrement à cause de la décision de la commission des débats des chefs. Alors, avec cette décision, c'est clair actuellement, en ce moment, que c'est pas possible d'avoir un percé au Québec maintenant. Mais la prochaine fois, peut-être, parce que nous sommes en partie avec les politiques importantes pour tous les Canadiens, particulièrement au Québec. Mais ici, en Saint-Gilles-de-Golfe, avec une opposition, avec le vote pour les conservateurs plus haut et aussi pour les libéraux plus haut, et avec une campagne au niveau national comme elle était comme une course des cheval, comme année pour les conservateurs, comme il était une élection pour un premier ministre. Ce n'est pas notre système. Nous ne sommes pas les États-Unis avec 2 partis seulement. Et une élection pour un président. Nous ne sommes pas un pays comme ça. Nous ne sommes pas une démocratie comme ça. Et je suis vraiment fière de mon équipe, mes bénévoles, qui a fait un job incroyable pour protéger notre siège vert ici à l'île de Vancouver.
Et vous avez justement dit, si c'est un gouvernement minoritaire, vous allez vous assurer de garder le gouvernement imputable. Pouvez-vous nous en dire plus?
J'ai parlé déjà avec le Premier ministre, j'ai parlé avec Mark Carney. Après, les résultats sont clairs que je serai réélu. Et il est quelqu'un il est un ami de longue date. C'est important d'avoir une approche très forte comme opposition pour protéger notre climat, les droits humains, les choses contre le président des États-Unis de reste début contre les politiques de quelqu'un comme lui, quelqu'un fou. Alors je suis absolument prête de protéger les voix des personnes, les autochtones, les personnes ignorées par les grands partis de status quo, comme les libéraux. Maintenant, avec un premier ministre, avec un mandat, je suis prête de travailler ensemble, mais en même temps de pousser pour les choses importantes que les libéraux à l'histoire bilingue ignorées.
Merci beaucoup, Madame May. Donc, c'était Madame May qui était réélue pour une 5e fois, un 5e mandat. Donc, depuis 2011, elle est représentante de cette circonscription.
Puis elle est heureuse, on la comprend, puis on la salue, Madame May. Donc, voilà les joies de la victoire. On va aller à Trois-Rivières. Louis, vous êtes avec la candidate libérale qui est devenue la nouvelle députée, Caroline Desrochers, la nouvelle députée libérale de Trois-Rivières.
Vous faites bien d'insister là-dessus, Patrice, parce que c'est un moment historique pour Trois-Rivières qui n'a pas eu de député au pouvoir à Ottawa depuis 1993, la fin du règne Mulroney. Et l'autre candidat libéral, le dernier candidat libéral à avoir été élu dans Trois-Rivières, ça remonte à 1980, donc 45 ans. Mais là, il y en a une libérale qui sera députée à Ottawa, Caroline Desrochers. Bon, Madame Desrochers, dites-moi comment vous accueillez, comment vous comprenez cette élection qui est quand même assez décisive.
Écoutez, merci beaucoup. C'est vraiment un honneur, c'est une fierté. Je le vois comme un beau message. Je suis arrivée ici, on le sait, là, au jour 10 de la campagne. Et vraiment, là, je suis allée cogner à toutes les portes. J'ai rencontré tous les secteurs. Puis je pense que je me suis positionnée comme quelqu'un qui est à l'écoute, quelqu'un qui veut faire une différence, quelqu'un qui va être là pour les citoyens. Et puis je pense que les gens ont apprécié ce message-là. Et c'est ça le résultat, je pense qu'on voit ce soir. Oui.
Pardon, mais dans le contexte qu'on connaît, le fait que sur votre carte de visite, il y avait qu'Affaires mondiales Canada, vous étiez affecté aux relations commerciales avec les États-Unis. Est-ce que ça a pu faire une différence aussi?
Oui, je pense qu'absolument. Puis je pense que c'est ça aussi qui est allé chercher l'appui. J'ai pu aller chercher l'appui de plusieurs secteurs de la société. J'ai quand même travaillé longtemps à Washington, mais pas à Washington, mais je suis allée souvent au Congrès américain pour défendre les intérêts des entreprises canadiennes, que ce soit dans l'industrie de l'aluminium, l'industrie du porc, que ce soit la gestion de l'offre. Alors, je pense que ça a résonné pour les gens ici. J'apporte un bagage, j'apporte une expérience qui est pertinente pour la région.
Dernière chose, hier, une électrice vous le demandait, allez-vous déménager dans la région parce que vous êtes de l'Outaouais?
Bien, je suis originaire de Montréal. Ça fait longtemps que je suis en Outaouais, mais oui, absolument, il faut être ici, il faut être... il y a le travail à Ottawa, mais il y a le travail aussi. C'est important d'être près des électeurs pour bien les servir.
Merci, Madame la députée, qui est accompagnée d'ailleurs de sa mère. Alors voilà, Patrice, et pour ce qui est d'Yves Lévesque, le conservateur, très, très déçu. Il a dit, j'ai offert ma disponibilité aux électeurs qui l'ont refusé. Maintenant, la porte reste ouverte pour lui d'un retour aux élections municipales, ou à Shawinigan ou à Trois-Rivières. Les deux lui seraient accessibles.
Il lâche pas, mais c'est bien. Louis, merci beaucoup. Et on salue la nouvelle députée, on salue sa mère, on salue tout le monde à Trois-Rivières. Merci de ce contexte. Alors, on va faire un certain nombre d'élus. Burlington, Karina Gould, qui est réélue donc dans Burlington.
Depuis 1984, Burlington vote du bon côté, vote pour le gouvernement. C'est la circonscription baromètre au pays.
Oui. Ah oui. Alors, encore une fois, c'était le cas ce soir, qui a fait, Mme Gould, une bonne campagne, même si elle est arrivée très loin derrière. Anita Anand, dans Oakville-Est, qui est réélue également. Donc, les pays d'en haut, Saint-Sauveur, Marin Heights, Tim Watchhorn, qui était jusqu'à aujourd'hui maire de Marin Heights, qui deviendra député de cette nouvelle circonscription. Voilà. Donc, on est à 160, 151. Je reprends, je fais du pouce sur ce que vous disiez, Jean-François, tout à l'heure. Je vais vous entendre chacun. À 160, si ça restait comme ça, le Bloc québécois, malgré les pertes, c'est quand même un scénario rêvé, parce que le NPD n'a pas la balance du pouvoir, même si vous ajoutez le vert. Là.
Oui. Et en fait, ça met Yves-François Blanchet dans une situation de pouvoir assez sans précédent. Parce que, donc, il devra doser le niveau de sa menace de faire tomber le gouvernement, ce qui est toujours le cas quand on a la balance du pouvoir. Alors évidemment, il y a le numéro de cellulaire de M. Carney.
Oui.
M. Carney, peut-être, j'espère qu'il lui a donné le vrai, parce que ça arrive qu'on nous donne des faux numéros.
Ah oui?
Je ne sais pas si ça vous est arrivé, Patrice. Non. Oui, bon. Pourtant, je vous avais donné mon faux numéro. Mais écoutez, quand est-ce qu'il va utiliser l'arme atomique? Est-ce que c'est si dans la négociation commerciale, il y a un largage de la gestion de l'offre? Est-ce que c'est parce que M. Carney s'entête à convaincre la Cour suprême d'empêcher le Québec d'utiliser la clause dérogatoire? Est-ce que c'est sur autre chose? Quelle sera la liste de ces conditions non négociables pour appuyer le discours du trône?
Avoir du pouvoir, ça vient avec la responsabilité.
Ça vient avec une énorme, comme disait l'oncle de Spider-Man. Oui, avec
énorme pouvoir, énorme responsabilité.
Et ça va être intéressant de voir comment il va jouer ça.
Mais il a clairement dit la semaine dernière que s'il était le balance du pouvoir dans un gouvernement minoritaire, il ne le ferait pas tomber à court terme. Et moi, je pense qu'il aurait intérêt à ne pas le faire. Je pense qu'au contraire, il pourrait, puis surtout avec M. Carney, je crois qu'il serait capable de négocier effectivement des choses pour le Québec et de, en tout cas, certainement, convaincre M. Carney, par exemple, sur la gestion de l'offre ou sur d'autres choses. Alors moi, je pense qu'il est gagnant en ne faisant pas tomber le...
Mais je vous rajoute un élément, ce qui va mettre encore davantage en furie l'Alberta.
Oui, exactement. Be careful what you wish for. Comme disent mes collègues, Monsieur Blanchet demandait cette balance du pouvoir, mais je pense pas qu'il y pensait vraiment, c'était juste pour avoir des députés. Là, il l'obtient probablement. Balance du pouvoir qu'il avait techniquement et en 2019 et en 2021, mais qui était complètement inefficace, ineffective, parce que les libéraux voulaient toujours être avec le NPD. Et là, je me demande, je parlais tout à l'heure de cette colère de l'Ouest face à un 4e mandat libéral trop à gauche, parce qu'on était accoquinés avec le NPD. Ben, je me demande quelle sera cette colère quand on va voir qu'on s'acoquine avec des séparatistes.
Énorme.
Exact.
Il y a quelque chose à l'horizon, dans la fracture canadienne.
La fracture, c'était une des questions du débat, la fracture canadienne, parce que ça risque de réagir en Alberta. Parce que là, le NPD ne peut pas avoir la balance du pouvoir.
Si les chiffres ne bougent pas, c'est une pomme empoisonnée pour les libéraux. Parce que dès qu'ils vont faire une entente avec les bloquistes, les conservateurs, les néo-démocrates et même les Verts vont dire, vous voyez, ça lie avec le diable. Parce que dans le reste du Canada, les bloquistes ne devraient même pas être à Ottawa. Ils sont souverainistes, ne devraient pas être à la Chambre des communes. Et donc, ça va être compliqué pour les libéraux de se maintenir au pouvoir aussi longtemps qu'ils ont été capables de le faire avec le NPD, où il y avait une alliance là, qui était naturelle. Sur beaucoup de politiques publiques, les libéraux et les bloquistes sont capables de s'entendre. C'est dans le symbole que ça va envoyer à chaque fois, si on s'entend, que là, ça va grincer des dents ailleurs. Pour Mark Carney, ça va être compliqué.
Oui, la vraie vie là-dedans. La vraie vie, là, c'est mettre au défi les partis d'opposition de traverser. Moi, j'étais dans un gouvernement minoritaire. On n'a pas fait d'alliance et on s'est entendu pour faire adopter nos projets de loi à la pièce, en consultant les gens. Les gens disaient oui, non, peut-être, négocier avec le 3e, le 6e, puis on a avancé comme ça. On n'était pas brillants, mais c'est comme ça qu'on l'a
Vous étiez un nouveau gouvernement.
Mais lui,
c'est pareil, là, c'est un 4e mandat.
Oui, mais tu es un nouveau premier ministre.
Exactement.
Ça va dépendre de M. Carney. C'est lui qui va avoir...
Bien brave, Patrice.
Tout à fait.
Bien brave, le chef qui va faire trébucher M. Carney dans les premiers mois, nous faire retourner, dépenser 45 millions bien brave.
François, je vais entendre François.
Tout vient de perdre 9 comtés.
C'est ça, de l'enjeu.
On n'en parle pas de ça.
Et là, on est dans le compte à rebours. On est dans le compte à rebours pour l'élection québécoise de 2026. Ça compte.
François, sur cette question-là.
Michael touche un point auquel j'allais aborder. Arrêtez-moi ça, le Bloc gagne rien ce soir. Il perd 9 sièges sur 33. Il sauve les meubles, je suis d'accord. Mais après ça, on se transpose du côté de Mark Carney. Dans ce contexte-là, puis avec la difficulté en termes d'image par rapport à l'Ouest, il y a du travail à faire, Mark Carney. Là,
mais moi, je suis pas d'accord. François, c'est comme votre vague orange de 2011. Ah oui, vous aviez plein de députés, mais ça a donné absolument rien. On est en situation majoritaire. Vous avez eu au NPD beaucoup plus de pouvoir avec votre vingtaine de sièges en situation minoritaire. Alors, des fois, on peut avoir moins de sièges, comme c'est le cas du Bloc, et gagner plus de pouvoir. C'est exactement ce qui se produit.
Je dis pas le contraire. Là, ce que je dis, c'est premièrement, là, le Bloc doit quand même réaliser qu'il a perdu 9 sièges.
Ah oui, bien sûr.
Alors, quand tu regardes en pourcentage,
il a perdu quantitativement, mais il a gagné qualitativement au Parlement.
Il a gagné plus de pouvoir. Même en ayant perdu 9 sièges, il va avoir plus de pouvoir.
Sauf si le gouvernement décide de ne pas rien faire avec eux.
Il n'y a pas le choix.
Il n'y a pas le choix. Il y a le choix, Jean-François, je m'excuse.
Oui,
il y a le choix de caler le bluff.
Il y a le choix de caler le bluff. Mais à l'approche de 2026, caler le bluff sur une question identitaire.
Ah ben là, ça va dépendre des...
Très bien, Louis. Est-ce que M. Carney, est-ce qu'on va l'entendre avant demain matin?
The first question, will he be in the House of Commons? Yes. Because I keep looking at those results in Carleton, and I'm waiting for them to find the stack of votes that puts him back on top. Yeah. There are still lots of polls in Carleton that have not been counted.
But he has not led that race yet.
Oh, he is significantly behind. It's not a close race at this point.
Yeah. Jason Kenney, we snuck Jason Kenney in there because I also heard Jagmeet Singh say your name as someone who is a conservative that he likes and points to as someone who is able to bring people together. What did you make of that? And like, there is obviously a problem here between Ford conservatives and Poilievre conservatives, and I don't know if it matters, but there's some deep animosity.
Well, there are certainly some personal differences, and to state the obvious, I have a firm grasp of the obvious. By which I mean, I think this is actually much more personal than it is ideological or factional.
Okay.
You know, every party has certain issue factions and personality factions. In this case, there seem to be 2 or 3 personalities that have really ramped up what I think is an unnecessary conflict that simply needs to get resolved.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know Jagmeet, for whom I have enormous regard. He's a incredibly talented a guy with an amazing story.
Yes.
He has a particular particular series of grievances. And I just, none of this should have been in the public domain. Let's put it that way.
No, for sure.
And I agree there should have been earlier efforts to engage those get those relationships well settled much earlier. But it's not like there's a huge rift between most of the people going door to door for federal conservative candidates in the last 5 weeks were going door to door for Doug Ford's candidates a few weeks before that. And you know what? The Ontario PC critique has been that Poilievre's team doesn't know how to win in Ontario. He's right now over 45% of the popular vote. Mr. Ford won 43% of the popular vote earlier this year. So the federal Conservative campaign is getting a better result, a larger total raw vote count, and a higher share of the popular vote.
Yeah.
That's nothing to sneeze at. And I think so a little bit of everybody has to put some water in their wine and put the best interests of the country first.
Yeah.
And maybe the common interests of partisan conservatives somewhere in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Pierre Poilievre had called Doug Ford right from the get-go, the same way that Mark Carney did, he went and had breakfast with him, it probably would have helped. Whether it matters at this stage, I don't know.
Well, remember, it's not just Poilievre versus Ford. It's Poilievre versus Tim Houston in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there were a series of candidates who looked like they could be perfectly acceptable and presentable candidates for the party who just didn't fit in with the Poilievre clique.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike DeJong in BC, why was he not allowed to be a candidate? So, you know, it's one thing, yeah, you can have a tent that's too broad and you lose all definition and you don't stand for anything, but you can have a tent that's too narrow and you just wind up defeating yourself.
Okay, I want to go to Conservative Party headquarters, if we can. Maybe. Possibly.
Much, Anne-Marie. Lots of things to keep our eyes on.
That's just a look inside the room where, yeah, that's what it looks like when you have not won an election and you're waiting to see more. Let's go to Kate McKenna, who's, I imagine, been talking to people and getting a sense of how people are feeling in that room tonight. Kate, yes, they haven't won, but it does look like they have improved over what they got in the last vote. But tell me what people are telling you.
Well, what your guest just mentioned about the federal Conservatives doing better in Ontario than the provincial Conservatives did, that's something that the campaign has been going around talking about. That's something that is very much being discussed in this room. And yes, they are losing. They're aware that they're losing. However, they're happy. Well, I wouldn't say they're happy, but they're encouraged by their gains that they've made. They're encouraged by the amount of popular vote that they're getting. But of course, one thing that's hanging in this room is that Pierre Poilievre has not won his seat yet. In fact, he appears to be trailing in his seat. We are hearing that he is set to talk in a few minutes, but they did play the Jamil Jabani interview here at the same time. Obviously, it was on the CBC broadcast, and there was a lot of applause in the room for the things that he was saying. There was a lot of hollering and cheers for the people in this room who feel that Doug Ford's interventions in this campaign were not helpful, and they did not advance the Conservative cause in this very competitive election. So this ongoing rift appears to still be taking place within this party, and we'll be watching to see how it manifests over the next few days.
Okay, Kate McKenna, thank you so much for that. I'm going to now go to Ian Hannah-Mansing, who's got some results. Ian.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at Greater Vancouver and see how the NDP are doing there in terms of seat change, first of all. So we'll put that up on the screen, I hope, or if we don't, then I will, yeah, there we go. So this is vote change in Greater Vancouver, and you see the Liberals are up. The Conservatives are up. This is a pattern we've seen in other parts of the country as well, and you can see that this is at the expense of the NDP. Now, hours ago, when we looked at New Brunswick, this kind of vote change didn't really affect seats at all, but in Greater Vancouver, it is affecting seats. Let's take a look, first of all, at Port Moody, Coquitlam. This was more or less a three-way race in 2021. This time around, the NDP has plummeted from having won this riding. Bonnie Zerillo is the incumbent MP. You can see she's not only in third place, she's in a distant third place, and it's put the Conservatives in first. Arguably, the progressive vote, the left of center vote, has been split just enough between the NDP and the Liberals to allow the Conservatives to come up through the middle. And take a look at this. New Westminster, Burnaby, Millardville. Peter Julian, one of the mainstays of the NDP for so many years. He's been the MP here since 2004, and he is in third place. And again, easy even for me to do the math between the Liberals and the NDP. If someone had been able to consolidate those numbers on the center left, that would easily win. But in both of those cases, Rosemary, at this point, arguably, it has allowed, once again, the Conservatives to come up through the middle. Now, those aren't elected yet, but it is interesting, and it helps explain why the numbers look the way they do, particularly in BC at this point in the evening.
Okay, thank you, Ian. I want to go back to Jason Kenney. If I can ask you this question, shortly we're going to hear from Jagmeet Singh. That's the little box there at the bottom of your screen. So we're also going to bring in Randall Garrison in a moment so he can respond to some of what Mr. Singh is saying. But if Pierre Poilievre ends up with a bigger number of seats than the last vote, 149, 150, put aside whether he's going to win his riding, where he is still trailing, but put that aside. How does the Conservative Party view that? Does he have the ability to stay? What do you think is going to happen there? And then if you want to throw in the thing about the riding, I don't know whether this is real, but he hasn't led at all night.
Yeah, well, look, I can't comment on the riding.
Sure.
I will just say that I think Mr. Poilievre, if he decides to stay as leader and leader of the opposition, he will have overwhelming support to do so. I don't see any faction or group within the party egging for a new leadership. I think the party realizes changing leaders every 3 or 4 years is counterproductive. And I think, on the merits here, right now, 42% of the popular vote nationally. The last time the Conservatives achieved that was under Brian Mulroney 37 years ago in 1988. Growth in new cohorts of supporters in a broader Conservative coalition that includes younger voters than typical, apparently doing very well in communities of new Canadians. And one of the most interesting things, I talked earlier about the sort of blue-collar swing that we seem to be observing towards Conservatives. Conservatives are winning in Windsor, Tecumseh, Windsor West, one of the Sudbury seats. We almost went Hamilton. We're competitive in Hamilton Centre. I've never seen that. These are long-time traditional NDP. So the NDP swing was I know it's fashionable around here to refer to the progressive bloc. A lot of traditional NDP voters wouldn't regard themselves as on the left. They're for the little guy. Sure. And Pierre Poilievre has been fighting for the little guy. He's broadened the Conservative coalition in that way, and picked up apparently at least 30 seats. So, and finally, he has been, in my judgment, the most effective opposition leader in our lifetime. Some might say too effective. Such an effective opposition leader that he became typecast as in that role.
And he also got rid of the very things that were going to help him. Justin Trudeau and a carbon tax. I mean, that was his own success brought that to him as well.
More than that, look, I mean, I heard my friend Arif here dismissively referring to Mr. Poilievre's three-word slogans. Look, he created the issue matrix that has been dominating Canadian politics for the past 2 years around affordability, the cost of living, housing, immigration, much of it represented, yes, by the carbon tax. He's also taken some principled and courageous positions. I think he took on the Liberals on their class warfare baiting on the capital gains tax increase. I believe he's the only leader who in French and English pointedly opposed the Quebec Bill 21 law against religious symbols in Quebec.
No,
did somebody else?
No, don't go there.
No.
He didn't. He actually has fudged whether he would intervene in the Supreme Court on it. So
I heard his clear opposition to it. So my
he
point.
says he's opposed to it, but he doesn't say
But
what
he
he
would
would
do
do
about
about
I
it.
think he ran a substantive campaign. He set up the issue set. He helped to defenestrate Justin Trudeau. And he's got the best result for a conservative leader since 1988.
Okay, and I take all those points, and they're excellent points, and I'm going to let Jagmeet Singh speak in a moment, except that wasn't the bar. The bar was 25 points ahead, and you were going to form government. And you're telling me no one in the party is going to be angry with him?
Oh, there's going to be a desire for sure for a retrospective. And I think any leader, after this circumstance, should show some humility, should take a step back. And I think the important thing is, does a leader have the ability to learn and to grow? I think we've seen him modify his tone, his approach, his issue focus over the past several months. I think that demonstrates such an ability. He'll have to demonstrate that to the party, but I don't see anybody gunning for his job.
Yeah, I'm not saying his leadership's in any trouble, but he needs to reflect on why he's not going to be prime minister tomorrow, because a large part of it was the leadership. The leader was the biggest liability for the party. The strategy that the party pursued, at least for the first part of the campaign, was clearly wrong. He bears responsibility for that. So he should clearly have to answer some questions to the party.
it's also very dangerous to take for granted for both the Liberals and the Conservatives that the NDP weakness in this election is something that will be permanent. On the contrary, I don't know what Mr. Singh is going to say, but at this point, it's not really hard to imagine that it could be stronger with a stronger leader than it has been over the past 3 elections.
Althea?
Well, the ridings that you mentioned are three-way races, that they're not, that the Conservatives got in through the middle because of the progressive vote splitting. But I get your point, especially in the 905, where I think Pierre Poilievre did a really good job, especially on the crime stuff. I think the reason that he's going to have trouble, whether or not he wants to stay, is the interview that we just saw with Jamil Javani. That aggressive tone really does not sit well with a significant chunk of the caucus that has been reelected. And we will find out as soon as the first caucus meeting whether or not they decide to approve the Reform Acts, and the caucus gives itself the power to decide whether or not Pierre Poilievre stays. And I think that will be a way for them to negotiate, because I think there are things that they would like. One MP called it the end of the reign of terror. Basically, they want Jenny Byrne gone. And if the result is low enough, they will set conditions to say, you want to stay, well, these are the changes we want to see.
Okay, quickly, Mr. Kenney, because I'm going to go to Mr. Singh.
Yeah, I would say, look, I think there are legitimate questions around tone.
Yeah.
And I think, amongst other things, if he had made an effort to more clearly position to auditioning for the role of Prime Minister rather than opposition leader late last year, it could have been marginally helpful. I don't think it would have changed the fundamental structure of this election in the way things unfolded.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason Kenney. Let's go to Jagmeet Singh. He's there in his riding in British Columbia. I should tell you that right now, as things stand, Mr. Singh is well behind in his own riding. He is in third with 4,000 votes. The other two far ahead. So things not looking good for him in his own riding tonight. And as we've shown you there, the NDP not even official party status. Let's listen in live.
Thank you. We're good. Thank you. Thank you. That was very nice, very sweet of you all. Thank you so much. You get me all choked up here, guys. Got to keep it together here, folks. Thank you very much. The love is amazing. I appreciate y'all. Big thank you to Suzanne. She's been with us from the beginning. Huge thank you. Appreciate her so much. Thank you. And all of you in this room, you guys poured your heart into this. Thank you so much for everything you've done. You're amazing. Love you all. Thank you. And I know in election parties, night parties across the country, people are gathered. I want to thank them all for all their hard work. They're amazing people gathered together across the country. I want to take a moment to congratulate Prime Minister Carney on his victory. He has an important job to do to represent all Canadians and to protect our country and its sovereignty from the threats of Donald Trump. Tonight and every night, all of us here, we're on Team Canada. We want Canada to thrive, and we're going to continue to fight for Canada. I want to congratulate all the other leaders on a hard-fought campaign. It's been the honor of my life to represent the people of Burnaby Central. Tonight they chose, thank you. Tonight they chose a new member of parliament, and I wish them well as they continue to work hard for this community. Obviously, I know this night is a disappointing night for New Democrats. We had really good candidates that lost tonight. I know how hard you worked. I spent time with you. You're amazing. I'm so sorry you're not going to be able to represent your communities. I know you're going to continue to fight for them. I know on how many doors you knocked, how many family dinners you missed, how many nights your kids went to bed without you there to tuck them in. I know it was a tough sacrifice, and I just want to thank, and we can get a round of applause to every single candidate that ran for us. Thank you. Yeah. Thank all those incredible candidates and their incredible teams, because no candidate can do without a team. The volunteers, the staff, thank you to all those candidates and their incredible staffs. One more time. Choosing to commit your life to politics obviously comes with some sacrifice, but we choose this life because of the chance to change the country we love for the better. We may lose sometimes, and those losses hurt, it's tough. But we are only defeated if we stop fighting. We're only defeated when we believe that those that tell us that we can never dream of a better Canada, a fairer Canada, a more compassionate Canada. I have met New Democrats from coast to coast to coast who will never back down, even when they're told that there's no room for them at the table. We make room for everyone because we believe that there is enough wealth in Canada for all of us to live the life that we deserve. Honestly, I got to avoid making eye contact with certain people because then it's going to get too emotional up here. So I just made the mistake of doing that, so I'm going to look away now. You know who you are. Don't look at me again. Almost 8 years ago, I was elected the leader of this incredible party, this incredible movement. I've worked really hard to be worthy of this trust, to live up to the legacy of our movement. Hold on a sec, I guess. Thank you. One more sec. Tonight, I've been informed a party leader that I'll be stepping down as party leader as soon as an interim leader can be appointed. Now, I could not have done this incredible job without, here's a point, give me a second to break down a bit. I couldn't have done it without the incredible support of my wife, Kidden. She has been my rock. She's been my foundation. For the past couple of years, I've been regretting that I didn't thank her on the night of the last election. So this is my opportunity to make up for it. She has literally been my rock. I couldn't have done this without her. She's backed me up and supported me. Yeah. She has made so many sacrifices. She convinced me that she's enjoyed them all, but I don't know. But she's amazing. I'm just so thankful. Thanks for being on this journey. I'm going to give you a hug. Hold on. Also, I might break down this part because, and Anhad and Dani, my daughters, remind me of the future. God damn it, that we are fighting for. That's just because I get emotional anytime I talk about my kids. I'm very sappy when it comes to my daughters, so I just get a little emotional. I've also been supported by my family, and I got to thank my parents who are here today. They're amazing. Love you both. My brother, I wouldn't have been on this journey without my brother. So big shout out to my brother, Kaptan. And honestly, this may sound funny, but my in-laws, I literally couldn't have done this without my in-laws. They're amazing. Where are my in-laws? They're somewhere here. Wherever they are, they're here. I wanted to look at them and point at them too. Oh, there they are. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without them. Literally, if you're a parent, you know how important your parents are, and your in-laws too. It turns out. So, huge thank you. They've supported us. They've kept me grounded, given us great advice. I'm so thankful to my family. You can't do this work without great people, and you can't do this without a great family supporting you. So, thank you to my family. I'm spilling my water and everything. It's getting a little bit, trying to be graceful here, folks. I also want to thank my NDP caucus. This is a team that together we brought historic change for people. We brought real change to the lives of Canadians. I know that people are concretely better off because of our work over the last 8 years, and no election result will ever diminish that. So thank you to my my caucus, honestly, I'm so thankful to them all. We did some incredible work together. Seriously, every one of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I might break down this part too. Forgive me if I do. I can only do this, and we can only do this work because of a great staff. And y'all just poured your heart into me, into the work that we did. So. It's a good thing that there's water here. This water is very strategically placed for me, so it's very lucky that I have. I might need a couple more glasses, so just if anyone can help me out on that, that'd be great. Y'all brought your talent, your heart to the fight every day. We treat each other with respect and dignity and with kindness, and I love you all. All right. We're almost there, folks. I got a couple other things I really want to get off my chest here. One other thing is, nothing's too spicy. It's just good stuff. I often speak about something my mom taught me. It's a Sikh teaching of Chardi Kala. And this is something fundamental to who I am. And it means, the words break down. Chardi means rising, and Kala means spirits. And it's something that it captures a big part of who I am. And it's the idea that in the fight for justice, in the fight for fairness, in the fight that we fight, we want to have optimism in the face of struggle. We want to have a defiant optimism. It's like this eternal resilience. And this is the spirit that I carry tonight. Obviously, I'm disappointed that we could not win more seats. But I'm not disappointed in our movement. I'm hopeful for our party. I know that we will always choose hope over fear and optimism over despair and unity over hate. New Democrats literally built this country. New Democrats built this country. We have built the best of Canada, and we aren't going anywhere. Thank you so much. Love you all. You're amazing. Merci infiniment. Appreciate it so much. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you. You're amazing. Love you all. Every one of you. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that is Jagmeet Singh conceding, first of all, his own riding of Burnaby South, where he continues to be in third place, and announcing that he will step down as leader as soon as a new interim leader can be chosen. He was the leader of the NDP since 2017. Marina von Stackelberg is in the room there. Marina, obviously a very emotional room, and I must say, a very gracious speech by Jagmeet Singh tonight.
Yeah, this was really the worst case scenario for the NDP. This idea that Jagmeet Singh would not be able to hold on to his own seat, that there would be severe losses for the party, which is how this is panning out. You know, throughout this campaign, one thing that we heard from supporters and from his team was that a lot of progressive voters that would have voted for the NDP were scared. They were scared of a Trump. They were scared of Trump. They were scared of a Poilievre majority, and so they were going towards Mark Carney's Liberals. And you know, the party tells me that they feel like if they would have had a bit more time to explain to people that this would cause vote splitting. This is what we've seen is several, you know, big name NDP MPs potentially or actually losing their seat because of vote splitting. The party clearly saw this was a potential issue. They actually started a whole campaign about it here in BC, saying vote for NDP to prevent Conservatives from getting seats. So obviously this is a huge loss for this party. One staffer I spoke to earlier today, we were talking about the potential outcome, said for her, it was something that no matter how it shook up, they had helped to get dental care. They had made dental care happen. And for them, that was something they were going to hold on to. That was something that the NDP pushed to with just 24 MPs in the House of Commons. But obviously, this leaves this party in really the worst situation. The last time they lost official party status was in the 90s. And this is so important for a political party. It allows you questions in the House of Commons. It allows you, you know, to be in committees, to get staff. And so where this now is really going to be the question.
Okay, Marina von Stackelberg live there in British Columbia. Of course, I said Burnaby South. It's Burnaby Central is the riding where Jagmeet Singh has lost his own seat. Thank you, Marina. Appreciate that. I'm going to go to Randall Garrison there. I will say, if you're going to lose and have a devastating night, and still act that gracious in your loss, that speaks to the humanity of these leaders and certainly of Mr. Singh. Speaking about the sacrifices people have made, he himself also has made, and now that he's stepping down. Are you surprised about the fact that he's leaving?
No, and I said just a few minutes ago, I guess, on the air, that it was too early to write the story, but I was pretty sure this is the story we would be writing. Yeah. I supported Jagmeet early on because of the kind of person he is and the compassion he shows to others, which he demonstrated in the speech, but also calling on Canadians to get behind the winner of this election to get us through these difficult times. An enormously difficult thing to do when you've lost.
Totally, yeah.
And so I give him high praise for that. I wasn't certain he would resign tonight, but I did think he would resign.
Yeah,
given the outcome. Now, I said earlier, where does the party go from here? Well, we still don't have a majority government here, and even if there are only somewhere between 8 and 12 New Democrats there, they may have a key role to play. And even if there's a small majority, they'll still have a key role to play in all those things that Jagmeet has talked about that are important to ordinary Canadians and the cost of living, housing, healthcare, all those things that are traditional priorities of the NDP will still be problems that the new parliament has to grapple with.
And not to take anything away from that legacy and the legacy of Mr. Singh, but we've come a long way from Jack Layton and official opposition to now. And I wonder why that is. I wonder, and what you think the party has to do to get back to a place of growth where people don't see it as a protest vote or a vote to park, but as a real alternative, a viable party.
Well, I think, as I said earlier, I believe that this is a temporary setback for the NDP in terms of people aren't saying we reject what the NDP put in the window as an offer. They've just simply said we have a bigger crisis here. Right. And for this election, we are going to make a choice for a strong leader in the face of Trump. Yeah. And so I think that's what's happened. So can the NDP, come back from this? Yes, I think they can. There's always the danger when you shrink back that certain protest moments or groups or things will try to take control of the party and keep it away from the mainstream, which leads to success, not just for the party, but for Canadians who believe in those values. And so I think that will be a challenge for the party in its reduced circumstances. Yeah. But I have no doubt that we'll meet that challenge and be able to move forward probably as soon as the next election, which may be very soon, if this is indeed a minority government.
Randall Garrison, thank you for coming all the way from British Columbia to help us with our coverage. I know it's not fun to have a disappointing night and have to talk about it, but you also were very gracious.
It is not, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Apart from the obviously bad outcome, it's been fun. Okay.
Good. Other than that, yeah. Appreciate that, Randall Garrison.
Thank you.
Yes, David.
Roseanne, I'm just getting word from the Liberal campaign that Mark Carney intends to speak in the next 30 minutes. So we should hear from him in the next 30 minutes or so on wherever this is going to end up tonight.
Okay, and there on the bottom of your screen there in that small box is Pierre Poilievre's headquarters, the Conservative headquarters. We are going to hear from him in just moments. And there he is with his wife, Anna Poilievre, who has been by his side throughout this campaign, really a vital part of the campaign to try and get people's support and to show a more personal side of him. Let me show you where Pierre Poilievre is in his riding of Carleton at this hour. Remember, unusual things going on in that riding because of the longest ballot campaign. There are 91 people on the ballot, but Pierre Poilievre has not led once in the course of this evening in his own riding. And the Liberal there, Bruce Fanjoy, is ahead by more than 2,000 votes. So that is something to watch for sure. Not calling anything there, but not very encouraging for Mr. Poilievre tonight. Let's listen in.
Merci. Merci,
Thank you.
chers Canadiens.
Dear Canadians.
Je vous aime aussi. I love you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's with profound gratitude that I stand before you today at the moment of this historic election. Because only in Canada could the story that Anna and I bring to the stage be possible. Adopted son of school teachers and a Venezuelan refugee, stand on this stage in front of our proud country, offering ourselves up to serve for the future. After millions of people have shown up and marked their X, spoken their voice, and exercised their democratic rights. We could not be more proud. We could not be more grateful for the opportunity the Canadians have given us. And speaking now of Anna, I want to take a moment to thank my incredible wife. She's been by my side. She's my rock. I love and cherish you and our little ones more than you'll ever know. And I could not have done any of this without you. Thank you so much. I love you. Now, my message to Canadians. The promise that was made to me and to all of you is that anybody from anywhere could achieve anything, that through hard work, you could get a great life. You could have a nice, affordable home on a safe street. My purpose in politics is and will continue to be to restore that promise. Thank you. To the candidates who ran under our banner as Conservatives, to the volunteers who knocked on the doors, made phone calls, put up lawn signs, rallied at our events, donated their hard-earned money to our cause, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. To the millions of people who voted for the Conservative Party and put their hopes and dreams in our vision, thank you. It will be an honor to continue to fight for you and to be a champion of your cause as we go forward. Ça serait un grand honneur de continuer de me
It would be a great honor to continue to fight for you because it has been an honor to be your voice, to fight for conservative values, the values for which you voted, and it will be an honor to continue to try and restore the promise of Canada, that anyone who works hard can have a great life in an affordable home, in a safe community. That is our vision, and we will bring it home.
To my fellow Conservatives, we have much to celebrate tonight. We've gained well over 20 seats. We got the highest share of vote our party has received since 1988. We denied the NDP and Liberals enough seats to form a coalition government, meaning and we did all of this in a very difficult It takes time. It takes work. And that's why we have to learn the lessons of tonight so that we can have an even better result the next time the Canadians decide the future for the country. Canadians have opted for a razor-thin minority government, a virtual tie in the vote count. So I would like to congratulate Prime Minister Carney on leading this minority government. We'll have plenty of opportunity to debate and disagree, but tonight we come together as Canadians. We will do our job. Yes, we will do our job to hold the government to account. But first, we congratulate people from all political backgrounds on participating in the democratic process. And as I said, while we will do our constitutional duty of holding government to account and proposing better alternatives, we will always put Canada first as we stare down tariffs and other irresponsible threats from President Trump. Conservatives will work with the Prime Minister and all parties with the common goal of defending Canada's interests and getting a new trade deal that puts these tariffs behind us while protecting our sovereignty and the Canadian people. I want to thank my Conservative team, my caucus, my members of the Conservative staff and others who've helped reshape the entire political landscape in this country. Conservatives have achieved major breakthroughs tonight. We brought in record support from blue-collar and unionized workers, youth, new Canadians. We gave voices to countless people across this country who've been left out and left behind for far too long. We won the big debates of our time on the carbon tax, on inflation, on housing, on the drug crisis, on crime. Conservatives have been leading the debate, and we will continue to put forward the best arguments to improve the lives of our people right across this country. But we will not stop there. Every single day, our Conservative caucus and I will be holding the government to account on behalf of the millions of Canadians who believed in the message of change. En tant que parti,
As a party, we have definitely expanded our support, and every single day the Conservative caucus and myself will be working hard in Ottawa to force the government to account on behalf of millions of Canadians who decided to vote for real change. I had the honor of crisscrossing this country to speak to thousands of people who shared their concerns, their suffering, their despair with me.
Took precious time out of their day to tell me about their struggles, their pain, their fears, but also their hopes and dreams. Welders and waitresses, farmers and factory workers, seniors, small business owners and single mothers, young Canadians and young families pleading for the chance to own a home, parents who worried that their kids would never be able to move out of their home, grandparents who saw their grandchildren suffering from the shortfalls of our economy, and countless others who are afraid to go outside because of the rising wave of crime. All of these stories touched my heart and gave me inspiration to work towards something better. These people continue to need voices, and I will continue to fight for them every day, and every day we will never give up on fighting for the Canadian people. Thank you. We hear your stories. We will carry those stories with us into Parliament. We will not forget the people for whom we work and for whom we fight every day. Now, I know that some of you might be disappointed that change did not get over the finish line tonight. Change takes time. Most of all, it requires that we never give up, because our people and our country are worth fighting for. Je vous ai entendu.
Heard you, and I carried your stories with me throughout this campaign, and your stories will remain with me as I fight with my Conservative team to defend you and to advance your interests. To those who desperately need change, I know that you're disappointed. Change is difficult and it takes time, particularly because we must now never stop. The people of Canada deserve that we continue to fight for them.
Who voted for other parties. And so, my message tonight, for the single mother working 2 jobs but still has an empty fridge and an empty bank account, for the young people who despair at never being able to afford a home, for the seniors on fixed incomes whose savings are eroded by inflation and no longer feel safe in their local neighborhood parks, for those who are now living in fear and terror because of crime, for those worried about losing their jobs because of unacceptable tariffs from the United States of America, for all of those who feel left behind and forgotten, my message is one of hope. Change will take time, but we will fight for that change, and we will deliver that change, and we will never give up on fighting for the great Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful house on a safe street protected by our brave troops under our proud flag. Canada first, Canada always. Let's bring it home. Thank you very much, Canada. Merci beaucoup, Canada.
Yeah, we fight for
In first place, Mark Carney with 131,674 votes. Vive le Canada!
Mark Carney n'a pas perdu de temps après son entrée en poste pour abolir la tarification fédérale sur le carbone.
Elbows up, Canada.
You know how refreshing it is for people to think a politician is boring?
Comme on a quelqu'un qui a gradué avec un doctorat en finance à Oxford.
The liberal plan is a good plan.
C'est quoi le nom du groupe d'humoristes de l'animateur Guillaume Lepage? Qui est en...
Oh, Crockett Bellator. Hey?
Ouais!
Oh!
Bravo!
It sounds like damning with faint praise, but I think you're reasonable. We need more adults, dude.
OK. Ce métier est plus fun.
Mais quand même, vous semblez avoir un bon sens de l'humour pour un économiste.
Pas un économiste.
Oui.
Nous avons une stratégie très claire. Nos contre-tarifs auront un impact maximal aux États-Unis et minimal ici au Canada.
We do have some breaking news out of Canada. Prime Minister there, Mark Carney, delivering a response.
In a crisis, it's important to come together, and it's essential to act with purpose and with force. And that's what we will do.
Monsieur Carney, est-ce qu'on veut devenir le 51e État des États-Unis?
Jamais. Jamais.
Recently, at one of your rallies, a lady shouted out, "Lead us, Big Daddy." And people say you have...
I never met that woman before.
Lead us, Big Daddy!
I'm supposed to go back the way I came in, but I think I'm going to go back that way.
But let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada? There will always be a Canada. All right. Elbows up. Elbows up.
C'est une question qui ont des valeurs pour tous les Canadiens, des valeurs de compassion, des valeurs de la communauté, des valeurs de la miséricorde. Fundamentally, it's about what it means to be Canadian, and that's what's at stake. Are we coming together, or is it everyone for themselves? I prefer that we come together to build a better country.
My name while you collect your clay. And I wear my sunglasses at night.